everybody, PlanetWalls here. We are back for round 5 of the Classic Quarter Classic League Qualifier Tournament 3. And we are playing against another Oath deck. This is by Ilskin. You can see that this deck list, if you go back to the previous list that I played against last round, it's very similar. I'll point out a couple of the differences real quick. There are 61 cards in it rather than 60. The Dark Steel is a Blight Steel, or now it's a Blight Steel. There are a couple Thoughtseize, and I believe that there's an extra. I believe that there is an extra land. There may also be a 4th misstep as opposed to 3, but I'm not sure about that. The sideboard is also a little different. I expect this Pyroblast to come in. I expect Nature's Claim to come in, but I think I'm actually going to board out most of the combo again. A guy named Comments always leaves some very insightful comments in the comments of the page that I post these matches. So comments, I'm probably going to do the same thing that you observe that I keep doing, which is board out most of the combo, because I don't think I can race this deck's combo. And also use Disruption and some Artifact and Enchantment removal that I hope he's going to board in. So that's it. We watch out for the same things, including him getting control of the library, Wastelands. He's only got 1 Dragon Breath. That's the other thing. Still got Tinker, Jace, some other stuff. So it'll be similar to the last round. See you in the game. And we are off. We will definitely be playing first. And this hand is actually really bad in this matchup. Let me think about this. I don't have a Grafdigger's Cage in the main. I'm going to load up my deck real quick. Yeah, I don't have a Grafdigger's Cage in the main, so the Enlightened Tutor doesn't give me any quick way to deal with this combo. We also don't have any counter magic. We have some Preordains and Brainstorms, which are both pretty good here, but neither of which finds me anything immediately. And plus he could Wasteland the Tundra. Having this many Brainstorms or Preordains suggests that I'm going to draw into something, but it might not be what we want. I'm kind of tempted to keep it just because it's like I can draw 3 cards with these and then use the Preordain to put them on the bottom if I don't like what I see there. Also, I can shuffle with an Enlightened Tutor. It won't stop a really quick start from him, though. So, and plus Meddling Mage is really strong in this matchup, so I think I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this. And this, I believe, is better, even though Swords isn't super exciting. And he keeps. So we'll go ahead and keep this. And the question is, do I play the Chrome Mox right now? And I think the answer to that is no. Certainly not an optimal hand. And this combo piece is just going to sit here for a while. The last hand is actually looking a little bit better now. I can disrupt a key spell, but doesn't actually seem that... Oh, and now he's just going to get Royal... Well, I guess not. Okay. So here's the question. I actually have the capacity on my turn. I think that's a bad idea. I think I just try to kill this by removing the Detention Sphere. That means if he can, like... I don't think he's got Channel in his deck. This is my deck. Where did his go? There it is. He doesn't have Channel in his deck, so I don't have to worry about an Emrakul coming to play real quick from his hand unless he shows and tells it. Which means that Swords to Plowshares is okay right now. So I'm going to go ahead and counter this. He could Force Will my Force Will. That's probably what he's doing right now, because he's taking a while. Nope. Okay. So we are at this point off to an extremely slow start now. This leads me to believe that this combo, like running combo decks, Comments made this comment too, it's just not my style, because I end up with all these dead cards in my hand. Then again, right now he's waiting to find something good of his own, which he hasn't yet. I could have dropped this turn, but that doesn't seem that good, even though I can mill him until I find an Emrakul or something. Maybe that would have been the right play. I'm not going to crack this in case I draw a Brainstorm or something. And actually drawing a 4th land wouldn't be horrible anyway. Okay, and we do draw our 4th land. So I'm going to go ahead and bust this and turn it into a Plains. And I'm just going to go ahead and cast this. I don't... Okay, so he's going to Spell Pierce it. I'm actually okay with that, I guess. This game isn't looking good, for the record, though. Maybe I should have been really weary about that Spell Pierce. That was probably a misplay. I'm making an effort to play a little bit quicker, but that could be a mistake at this point. And I could have actually cast this Helm by pitching the Swords earlier, a little bit earlier, but not sure that would have been very good. Now he could play Jace here. That would be very hard for me to deal with. They're kissing. What we really want to draw into at this point, I guess, is like a Preordain. A Brainstorm would be okay, but not excellent. Only 14 land in the deck and 3 Chromax. That's 17 cards I definitely don't want to draw. It's about 1/3 of them. And judging by how long it took him to play that Vampiric Tutor, I don't know if he knew what he wanted to find there. Okay, so here's a question. This Caracas is really good against Emrakul and Grizzlebrand, so it's a good land to have, but it can get Wastelanded or Strip Mined. He can haste Emrakul or Grizzlebrand with this Dragon Breath, but that can only happen if he gets into the graveyard, or alternatively, if he plays a Show and Tell and then just hard cast the Dragon Breath onto the Grizzlebrand. I think I pass the turn and keep the Caracas, and I assume that Vampiric Tutor was to find an Oath there, though I'm not entirely sure about that. He could Show and Tell and hardcast a Dragon Breath, but I'm willing to take the risk that he's not going to do that. I think it's much more likely that he has a Wasteland or something. Okay, so now he draws whatever he tutored up to the top. Could be a Show and Tell if he's got stuff in his hand that's relevant. That's totally possible. But I have ways to deal, at least in principle, with all 3 of his major threat creatures right now. He could Mental Misstep this, though. This is probably pretty unreliable as an answer to the Blightsteel. So this is going to be a Show and Tell, yeah. And I actually don't really want to put anything into play. Though actually, would that matter? I could put the Caracas into play here. Yeah, that's probably the right move. And that's the creature I did not want to see, because it's almost assured that he's got a Mental Misstep. I'm not casting this now, because I want to wait and draw maybe what's my own Mental Misstep. Plus, you could play a Strip Mine just right now and Caracas the, or kill the Caracas. Wow, that's a pretty bad draw. We're going to do this right now. My guess is a misstep happens. It did not. Okay. So we get to live another turn. And both the cards in our hand are pretty terrible. And he has to find a way to deal with Caracas, which my guess is he will be able to do. At this point, I think I really want to draw a Meddling Mage. Is this another Show and Tell? No, it's going to be Jace. That's hard for me to answer right now. Okay. Yeah. So this puts him on a track to a pretty good place. Though it might be quite a while before he actually wins. Okay, that's pretty good. The question is, do I want to play that right now? That gives him time to prepare. And my guess is he just filled his hand with counter magic, but I kind of have to make some assumptions here. I need to be able to get rid of that Jace. And, or alternatively, so I can find a detention sphere, but alternatively, okay, so here's what I think. I actually think waiting on the Enlightened Tutor is better, because he could Fate Seal me at this point, and also Fate Seal me with Jace, and I would want to reshuffle. Yeah, actually, that's a guaranteed good reason to wait on this. The other reason I was just going to say is because he won't know what I'm going to do before he brainstorms, if he does brainstorm this turn. Oh, well. Okay, so is there an enchantment I want to put on the bottom of my library? Because I think I cast this here. I see no reason why not. And then that sort of forces him to use the Jace to Fate Seal me. It will put whatever card, though, on the bottom, which isn't great. Maybe I actually do the Porcelain Legionnaire. You know what I could have made a mistake doing? Is countering his Oath this game, because he didn't have a way to give me any creatures. So if I put this Detention Sphere on the top, then it goes on the bottom, and I don't want that, because I think it's the better answer. Alternatively, I can put the Porcelain Legionnaire on the top. Yeah, you know what? I think putting Porcelain Legionnaire on the top might be the best play here, because it's okay if it goes on the bottom. Then again, he could have his One of Nature's Claim, but he could cast that on the Detention Sphere anyway. Either way, this should definitely make him feel safe about my hand. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So we have a fresh card on the bottom of our deck. He didn't get to brainstorm, which is good. That is pretty bad, though, because it definitely doesn't stop an Emrakul. I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn. I guess it kind of stops a Grizzlebrand. Unfortunately, though, now it's pretty likely each turn my draw is going to be bad. Okay. We'll let that resolve. Maybe a strip mine? Not sure. Orchard. Okay. I'm not sure if he looked for an orchard or... There's an oath. Okay. So... That's not going to be good for me. My guess is that he's going to Fate Seal again, but maybe he brainstorms. Okay, so it looks like he's looking for counter magic then. Now, both of his creatures are legendary and can be Caracas, so my guess is he's going to plan on finding a wasteland or something, I guess. This energy field's going to stay in my hand until I find a Force Will. And question is, do I play this or keep it? I think I keep it here. Because I want to sort of bluff that I have something a little bit more impressive at the moment. I don't think he has to be all in just yet. Okay, now there's going to be an Emrakul in his hand coming up here, which he can put back on his deck. Question is, do we want this in his hand or in the graveyard? It's going to be in the graveyard no matter what. Okay, go ahead. I mean, he can brainstorm it back into his library and keep oathing it out. I guess what I'm trying to say is he's not in that bad of a position right now. My big beater is this guy. If I could eliminate that Jace, that would be pretty cool. Then I'd feel a little bit better, but he's already gained so many cards that for sure he's going to find a way to end this Caracas. Now he can use library too. And another library. Yeah. So things not looking great. He might actually eventually just be able to hardcast an Emrakul. That would be kind of an exciting way to end this game. If I can actually, this is interesting, if I can actually land a... No, he's Fate Sealing me. Okay. So I definitely should have played this. Comments right now is probably squirming in a seat. And he should be. Okay, so that shuffles his entire library. Cool. I at least hope... Okay, good. I was going to say, I at least hope it's another fetch land. Which it is. When he can land a Grizzlebrand, it'll probably be pretty hard for me to do much of anything. That's my guess anyway. Hmm. Do I want him to be able to discard this again? That's actually a serious question to me. Okay. Kind of wish I would have had a card to draw from this. I.e., that I hadn't mistakenly not played the fetch land when he can Fate Seal me. Okay, well, he's going to be disappointed with my hand. I guess I hope he takes the Chrome box. So here's the next question. Do I Caracas EOT or do I hope? Because here's a possible scenario. Um, he could find a Grizzlebrand with his. No, he's not going to find a Grizzlebrand with Oath now. Never mind. I was going to say he could find a Grizzlebrand with his Oath. Because this way he discards the Emrakul and resets the Oath. And what he just did there by killing my token prevents him from oathing up both guys and allowing me to Caracas multiple things back into his hand and prevent him from having any real win cons immediately. He's got the Jace though, so my guess is Emrakul goes back in the yard right here again, so it can come up. Yeah, you got it. And we don't need to crack our fetch. We don't know what card we're drawing. Could be good, could be bad. It's bad. And he's seen the Chromax and the Flooded Strand, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Strand. Note that we have one more island left in the deck and one more plains, and then two more tundras. That's just to keep track of everything. Okay, and he finds Emrakul again. And this means a bunch of Lotus Petals, Force of Wills, a bunch of stuff's not in his hand, but there is a Dragon Breath. And you definitely want to wait until combat step to Caracas, because he could show and tell it back into play. Oh, okay, well, there'll be no waiting this time. Okay, when you're playing with Jace, you have to, we're going to find the last island, I guess. There's still a Scalding Tarn, which now can only find a Tundra. So, maybe I shouldn't have gone in that order. And we're set up to lose next turn and set in case something really great happens. Not sure that's going to be really great. It is kind of funny, though. So it's got that going for it. Can I think of a situation in which this would be relevant? I mean, I guess I'm not going to lose right away. Why is he contemplating countering this? We're doing this because it's cool. He's gonna hardcast a force here? Okay. That's actually okay with me. It's not exiled because I don't have a Rest in Peace in play. Otherwise, I could just play the island and recast it. But now I have a second Spirit token, which, I mean, I could very well just die this turn. But I've got enough permanents that I can defend myself in some ways from an Emrakul strike, even. That one's not coming in this turn anyway. Need to remove auto yields in case he Fate Seals, then I have to crack the Flooded Strand. Because I could still find a Detention Sphere and hit the Emrakul, and then it's also possible that he has the Grizzlebrand in his hand. I mean, then he could just brainstorm the next turn to get stuff back in his deck. I mean, still killing the Jace would... And now it's at 6, though. I think you'd have to screw this one up for me to win, in other words. But we put that on the bottom, so I don't even need to crack this fetch land. That's cool. Plus that pushed me back, or even closer to 15, which is a single death strike from this. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that isn't gonna help right now. Though I will be able to get rid of... Okay, let's think this through. If I need to draw a Detention Sphere here, this is 4, 5, 6, 7 lands. Means I'm going to want to crack this fetch to make it slightly more likely I'm going to draw a Detention Sphere, and that I need to keep these two as is, and then that I kill the Grizzlebrand with the swords. Unlikely, but I'm giving this a shot. And I think it... Does it mean that we have to play this island? I don't think it does. We have to lose 6 permanents? Okay. Let's gamble on this Detention Sphere draw. This is kind of exciting. So now I might be able to exile a Grizzlebrand. I have a chance here. Exile the Grizzlebrand, and maybe draw a Detention Sphere, and hopefully he doesn't have a way to remove it. Do I do this now? Yeah, because I don't want him to get that extra little draw. You definitely draw 7 here, because he's going to gain 7 when I use this anyway. The odds of him somehow not having the counter magic to stop a Detention Sphere are so unlikely that I'm basically doing what Simon says in Simon Says, to refuse to lose here, because I'm playing for that one narrow possibility that he has nothing, and that I can somehow Detention Sphere his other threat. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen, which is okay with me. And so now Detention Sphere doesn't do anything. Both my swords are gone. Do I even have an opportunity to get out of this? I don't believe I do. So let's go ahead and let him swing in here. Yeah, I'll do that. Do we want this other creature? Don't think so. Oh, plus I just die. Okay, never mind. I forgot that these things actually deal damage. Whoops, I'm trying to say good game. Okay, so we are moving into game 2. The things I definitely bring in include the cage, the 2 annuls, probably the 2 misdirections for dealing with counter magic. Cursed Totem isn't that interesting here. Powder Keg sucks. And these Magi are another question. So is the Supreme Verdict. They're maybes, as I understand it, in this matchup. Porcelain Legionnaire is pretty bad here, even though it threatens Jace. Swords is also pretty bad. I think I'm better off just trying to make sure that Oath never hits the battlefield. These energy fields are terrible. The other question is how I exactly want to win this. Do I want to try and beat him down with these 2 casts? These are okay against... I mean, they keep his Blightsteel on the table. I think he boards out Blightsteel, personally, but they can also kill, like, Lotus Petals and stuff. So the question is whether that's better or worse than a Swords. I think it might actually, since I'm maybe trying to win by attacking, I think it might actually be better. And I think I go down to 1 Rest in Peace, and I, again, don't play the combo game, really. The Supreme Verdict is highly questionable to me. I don't think it's very good, honestly, even though it can't be countered. I guess it can kill an Emrakul, and it can be pitched to Force of Will. But I still feel like maybe it's better than Swords because I brought in these Magi to deal with the Blightsteel Colossus, and this can be pitched to Force of Will. I could see bringing in the other Helm for the Swords to Plowshares too. Especially because it's not very good against Grizzlebrand when he can draw a million cards. Yeah, and Helm isn't good by itself, really. I think this is right, but Helm isn't very good by itself because I want to get Grafdigger's Cage out. This is actually fine. I could go for a turn 1 Meddling Mage naming Oath. I would have to pitch a card to Chromax, though. Chromax is terrible. My deck is bad. We're not going to mulligan. Yeah, I think waiting here is the... Well... Here's the thing. Okay, so if he has Force of Will, he's going to force my Meddling Mage on turn 1 after I play a Chromax and remove either Misstep or Annul. If he has a Mental Misstep and not a Force, then, which is equally likely, he would Mental Misstep my Annul. If he's got a Force, that's bad for me, on top of an Oath. I'm actually going to play this... I'm going to play Tundra first of all. Because if he Wastelands it, that's good for me, I think. I really hope he doesn't have a library. That's really tough luck when that happens. Please, no oh. So hard to deal with. Oh, God. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and find an island, I think, with this. And we're going to name some Oath here if this resolves. Now, hopefully he didn't just draw the second blue card or the Force of Will. I think it was still worth not playing a Chromax, though. Okay. No, we don't want to name Oath of Ghouls. We name Oath of Druids here. And we roll with the punches, as it were. You can still show and tell us out. That's just it's just a fact of nature at the moment. Maybe it'll happen right now. Nope. I could have mulliganed again last game. Maybe that would have been right. And this Annul is now pretty bad, actually, now that I've named Oath of Druids. Maybe I should have named Show and Tell and just had a plan on countering the Oath of Druids with Annul. Okay, now I know that's there. We drew another land. This is really bad. So we've had 2 bad draw steps. And do I play a Flooded Strand here or a Tundra? I think I go ahead and play the Flooded Strand in case he jaces. He's going to play a land because otherwise he would have activated Library during his upkeep. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and misstep that. And it's okay if he spell pierces. I don't want him to see my hand suck. Yuck. Okay, so he gets to see my hand suck and take the annul. That's no good. Chromax are also bad when he's got Nature's Claims in his deck. Something to keep in mind. And at this point, again, we have this question of what to do with this Flooded Strand. At this point, a Brainstorm is really, really good for me. So I have to keep this Flooded Strand open. And that's actually awesome. The question is, do I cast that now? That gives him an opportunity to deal with something, or do I wait? I think I wait. Even though he can library into more cards. Just because giving him the chance to prepare for this is really bad. I could remove that Dragon Breath from play. What could I do? So I think he's brought in this Pyroblast and maybe the Nature's Claims. I think what I should actually do... Ooh, this is my opportunity, I think. Though it does help him figure out what to do with this Brainstorm. And if he ends up playing a Jace, then he can just put whatever I find with Enlightened Tutor at the bottom of my library. Like, the question here is whether I keep this Enlightened Tutor right here, right now, because of the possibility of Jace. I think since he's only got 1 Jace, I play the Enlightened Tutor now. And we put a Detention Sphere, or do we put Grafdigger's Cage? We put a Detention Sphere on top. He could Pyroblast this Meddling Mage, but I think I'm supposed to be more worried about Show and Tell right now. He could do it this turn, though. Okay, so is that a horrible play, what I'm doing right now? It could be. I'm putting this on top. Going with my instinct on this one. Hoping for no Jace, no Pyroblast. Yeah, maybe that Detention Sphere play is bad too. Here I am second guessing myself again, but I've already passed. Because he could have boarded in Nature's Claims, as I originally suspected. And should he do that, it means that, what am I trying to say? If he boarded in Nature's Claims, it means Detention Sphere doesn't do very much, even if he shows and tells. Means I really want to see is another Meddling Mage. Maybe I should have kept that Enlightened Tutor in my hand. So do I bite at this game? Probably. Keeping in mind, brainstorming at EOT doesn't do very much for him because it just basically cantrips into itself, and now he gets to put one card back on the bottom of his library. So he gets to see one fresh card. In other words, that brainstorm wasn't optimized, which is probably in his best interest. I just really hope this isn't Jace. That would suck. Please don't be Jace. Because he's set up to cast Jace? Okay. Doesn't look like Jace, unless he's got a Lotus Petal. Alright. Discard an Emrakul, maybe? Reshuffling Dragon Breath? I gotta go to the bathroom. Normally people complain about me taking a long time, and that does seem totally legitimate, but this time it does not appear to be me. And I believe he knows I have this Tundra in my hand, so I think dropping it is probably the right play. Yep. If we got away with this one, I'd be impressed, but I say that a lot, so what do I know? And if he cracks another fetch land at some point, that means one fewer turn that he's allowed to live. Come on, crack it. Yes, okay. Uh-oh, that signifies for me a Pyroblast. But you would do that now, right? Before I hit another draw step? Then he wouldn't have to discard, too. Unless he wants to reset his library and has an Emrakul. Okay, yeah, so he knew that Ancient Tomb wasn't going to be doing very much for him. That's actually pretty awesome. But in the current state of affairs, it doesn't do very much right at this moment. Would I counter a Pyroblast here? No. Yes, I probably would have. If he uses another fetch land, that means he can't force a will. Basically, every life point matters for him at this point, even though he's got so many cards in hand. Like, my guess would be that he has to have something highly relevant. Yeah, we'll say yes to that. Because it makes his life total go down. I mean, he could be finding a counterspell, I guess. So what's interesting is that unless he plays another land, he has to activate the library to draw this card this turn. Then if he plays Show and Tell, he taps his green source in order to cast the Show and Tell, which means he can't Nature's Claim the Detention Sphere. Maybe he didn't board in any Nature's Claims. But if he's Show Telling right now, or maybe this is looking for a Pyroblast, I don't know. It basically puts him in sort of a weird situation, because I know he can't activate Grizzlebrand now. He's at lower than 6. My Magus of the Unseen are pretty bad right now, aren't they? He's gotten good library starts both turns too, where he hasn't been mana screwed, and he's been able to draw a number of extra cards off library. So, I mean, he's 8 cards in his deck deeper than mine right now. He hasn't been drawing badly, in other words. My hands were subpar, but not shockingly so. I didn't feel like I really got kicked in the testicles or anything. Okay, there's another land. So he didn't activate library, which means that card is still on the top of his deck, I guess. I actually wouldn't mind drawing another land here. And I'm still hoping for that brainstorm. Okay, that's really interesting. Whoa. Um, do I play that now? I think I played that before combat. In case I need to hardcast a Force of Will. It gives me that option. I probably can't take that option, though. And he goes to 2, huh? Okay, that was a pretty cool land to draw. We're passing here. Maybe I should drop these Chromax. You know what, dropping the Chromax would have been a good idea. Because I have... Oh my god, I could lose this turn if he gets an Emrakul into play. The other way, I made a horrible play by not playing the Chromax. I should have played 1, so I kept a Meddling Mage in play. Jace, huh? With 2 remaining... Okay, if I pitch this... I have to think this through, I have to. If I pitch Detention Sphere to Force... And I have to pitch it, I think, because otherwise he... I don't know what to do here. Okay, if I pitch Detention Sphere to Force, then I don't have to worry about Spell Pierce, which he may have in his hand. And I get to counter the Mind Sculptor. He could also Force a Will that. And if he did, then he would have to bounce the Meddling Mage and I would recast it. And he would get another turn to do stuff. I think he's got to have a counterspell in his hand that's relevant. I could be wrong. The alternative is I let this resolve, he bounces this, and then I Detention Sphere his guy. And then I have to pitch the Meddling Mage. Damn. I think the right play is just to counter this here. Does he have a Spell Pierce? I think he has one. Because if he has a Spell Pierce... I lose the Detention Sphere, though. And then oh man, that's hard. I'm pitching the Detention Sphere. Shoot. Okay. So he plays this, he has to bounce my guy. And now he can't crack a fetch land, and he can't use another Force of Will. That's bad. Do I crack this? I'm still going to say no on that. Damn. um, so let's say I don't name Oath here. Oath seems right, I think, still. He could have a Then I pass the turn. He could have a show and tell, and then I would lose. If he has show and tell Emrakul. Okay, now he plays it. Damn, he's got a Forbidden Orchard. Okay. Not cracking because of the Brainstorm possibility. Okay. That's at least interesting. This is getting cast. Because I want to have a lot of permanents on the board. Now, if he hits Grizzlebrand, okay, so he's countering that. That's okay with me. I just need no, I need 2 guys alive. But I don't have the mana to cast both my Meddling Mages here. Basically, if he hits an Emrakul, I need to be able to live. But now what's happening is that he can hit an Emrakul or a Grizzlebrand, and I'm in serious trouble. I think that Spell Pierce on the Chromox just caused me to lose. No, it didn't yet. Because he would have to give me a token first, though. He's not going to give me a token if I play these Meddling Mages. Damn. Okay, he's talking about his own clock, which is... okay, so this should be a show and tell. Why is this still here? I don't know. And that should be, what should that be? Pyroblast? Okay. So I think I can still win if he hits Emrakul. If he hits Grizzlebrand, I think I probably will lose. Please hit Emrakul, not Grizzle. Oh god. Okay, okay. Show and tell was a mistake to name. I should name something else. Shit. Okay. So I could have won this game had I, not named Show and Tell. And named Nature's Claim instead. That's really rough. I'm going to beat myself up over that one later, but it was impressive. I get to oath into something here. Just kind of fun, I guess. I've always wanted to do that. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. I had a good match, even though I lost this one. I guess if I named Nature's Claim, I would probably still be playing right now. No, because he could, you know what? He could have bounced the Nature's Claim one. So thanks, everybody. Have a good one.